And so after the album, and then you did your videos, did you have a conversation with Ray and said, you know what, I think I can't continue, or or did they say, yeah, look, we've put some money in it, it didn't work, so we're dropping you. What happened?
Well, that's the thing. The album was successful. When I go back, I really think there were other singles on that album. Things just, again, internal conflicts at the label, management issues, uh, that things just weren't being executed the way they should. We started running out of time, and um, I was frustrated, and the longer time went by and I did shows and did some touring with that album, I was just like, I think this relationship has come to an end. Like, I think it's
Wow.
time for us to break up. you know? I felt like me and Capital needed to break up. And yeah, it was, and that was the thing too. It wasn't hard letting me go or to leave to get out of my contract. None of that. Like, I will always say I've been blessed
Mm.
with the deals I made with that label, and then getting out of my contract and leaving. It could have been much more difficult,
Yeah.
or worse, a more difficult experience. But no, I left and I took a break. I just was like, because in the middle of all that too, I had signed, I had, before starting that album, I had signed with Next Modeling Agency. I was doing some modeling. I did, walk a few runways for
Wow.
like Chanel and other Tommy Hilfiger. I was doing stuff like that. Um, but after leaving, I just felt like here's a time where I just need to just detach myself from everything
Mm.
and figure out who I am and what I really want.
And so did
A
you?
lot of that's a bad idea. I had more people tell me that's a horrible idea. You can kill your career that way. And I thought, you know what? But I'm losing my mind, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
either I got to do what's best for me.
Because people fight to get into the industry, and you're in there and you're trying to come out, and for most people it's like, well, what are you doing? Well, I'll kill to do you, to be you, but without realizing that you could die being you if you don't get out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You you can go and burn yourself completely out to the point of you lose yourself. Um, it's an industry where so many people either try to take advantage of I mean, drugs, alcohol, that's everywhere.
Mm.
Um, and at some point, some people fall into those traps in order to maintain or to survive.
Mm.
And I just knew for my own sanity that it could either end badly,
Mm.
or I do the right thing and walk away from it all and just try to figure stuff out
Mm.
the right way, like like step back from it, look at it from a different perspective, figure it out. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, um, I'll have to see. I don't know. I didn't know, but I knew I didn't think too hard about it because I needed to maintain my sanity. I was like, I don't want to be depressed anymore. I don't want to go through that again. And
Mm.
yeah.
Did you move back to Iowa then, or did you just stay in LA for a while?
Um, what did I do? No, I did. I do. After that album. No, I was in LA. Oh yeah, I was in LA for a while. Yeah. I was dating, good relationships, bad relationships. I was living a normal life. I did traveling. I did a lot of stuff like that. I was trying to just, I was on the search of trying to find myself.
Mhm.
And I felt like I couldn't do it being in the industry. I felt like I was going to lose myself or was losing myself being in it. I needed to get out for a minute.
But being outside of it and all these relationships and things, how do you then decide, how do you decide how to make sure that you're getting the right balance? I would have thought staying in LA was probably part of the problem because everyone's trying to get in and it's a rat race. So were you okay just living in LA and not being a performer?
I was okay. I was okay with being in LA, not being a performer because it wasn't like I wasn't doing any work. I was still sometimes like having writing sessions, doing
Okay.
stuff like that. Literally though, just exploring life and just trying to do normal stuff. And then I had my sister who, was living out in California and spending more time with her,
Okay.
spending with my family, coming home more often because it got to a point where I wasn't even coming home as often as I used to, and spending time with my parents. At that point, my oldest brother was starting his family. So I was coming home and babysitting and spending time with kids, doing normal stuff. And it was what I really needed.
Mhm.
I needed to do it. It's like I could tell it's what I needed to do. I really did. And traveling, just kind of doing whatever I wanted to do and didn't have to answer to anybody, or have any expectations
Mm.
put on me. And then you start to see more people coming out doing music, and then you start to feel like, ooh, I think I miss it a little bit. that that uh that sensation where you're just like, oh, I think I kind of miss it. And then you start running into people who are just like, why aren't you singing? Why aren't you doing that? And then you're
Mm.
like, oh, it's not as easy as you think it is, or it's not a short story. Like,
Yeah.
you sit down and let me make you a few cocktails to explain to you some of the stuff, and you know there there's things that you and I haven't even talked about. There's things that I probably won't talk about that I endured or experienced in the industry. That might be for a book at some point, but but yeah, I think getting out when I did was probably the best decision I ever made.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between
us for even loving us, on which I didn't miss you really.
What was it like growing up?
she's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay.
They don't understand what Jonas Boys winning Oscars.
Play it.
And all these guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.